following message is being transmitted at the request of the Boundless PodTrap movie review and the guys of the BPT. What you are about to hear contains spoilers to movies. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, please disengage your listening device at this time. If you can't handle those with a possible differing view on a movie, you may also want to disengage your listening device at this time. Stay tuned for a movie review that only the guys at the Boundless PodTrap can give you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, you fine-ass bitches. How y'all doing tonight?
You talking to us or the audience?
Both.
Oh. I'm pretty
God,
swell.
I thought that was fucking loud in studio.
It's loud in the speaker. We're doing some technical experimentations right now.
If you didn't know, Lonnie's in a tin can.
You're not getting out until you complete this episode.
I'm in a balloon 40,000 feet up in the air.
It's true. He
Sounds
is.
like it.
He's with the guy from Up. Anyway.
That was Owen.
Anyway, that was
fun
one.
doing this one. That was kind of good.
It worked so well the last time that we're going to spin it again.
This time we're going to have text on the screen for when Lonnie talks.
Yeah. I'll just say what he's saying. He's not saying anything.
Anyway,
Welcome back.
Welcome back
guys.
to the movie review. Did you guys have any trouble getting time to watch this one?
I had trouble watching this one. I
Yeah.
was telling you guys before,
Oh
like,
my gosh,
I did like
this is going to be interesting for Justin. I have a feeling.
I did about 3 sittings to finish one movie. How old?
An hour and 40 minutes.
An hour and 40 minutes. It took me about 6 hours every sitting, every 3 sittings. So,
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
I saw it in theaters and then I watched it again today.
I watch it every Monday before we do our reviews, just so it's
Like
fresh
every
in my
Monday?
Well, the Monday before.
Okay.
No,
I was like,
I
just
just need to watch
refresh
it
it every Monday.
once for the most part.
and I know Lonnie,
same.
you watch it twice at least.
Yeah, I seen it once and then I watched it once again for the podcast.
Yeah.
Did you see it in theaters the first time?
I didn't. I seen it when it came out on stream.
Okay.
I think that
Gotcha.
says a lot about our characters or how we are, because we all have like different things, but we all kind of like meet at the, mine's bigger than.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's like the way that I would say it is like
different strategies on how we approach these? Is
Yes.
that what you're trying to say?
So to answer one question, there's usually only 4 positions you can take on it. And it's usually a positive, a negative, a not sure, or a don't give a fuck. So,
I'm the negative.
yeah, John's the don't give a fuck. And I think I'm the positive.
So that leaves Lonnie as the what?
He doesn't know. Do you know?
I think that's pretty true. I
Okay.
don't know.
That is pretty accurate.
What I do appreciate about Lonnie, though, is his confidence in how he says things. Because I'm like, oh, shit, he knows his... Wait a second. He doesn't...
100% true. You just pretend like you know what you're talking about, people will just agree with you.
Right on.
Well, the movie we're talking about is current one. You good to go? Okay,
I'm good.
just wanna make sure.
We'll
So
see.
today's movie review, we're going to be talking about 2022's The Menu.
First time go. He didn't even have to mess any up. Was
You stupid son of a bitch.
And that's not a joke. He really did that.
Directed by Mark Mylod. Is that how you say his name? Mylod.
Yes.
Mylod.
Mylod?
Mylod.
Right on. Quick little synopsis. According to the IMDb, that's where you guys usually get it, right?
Yes.
Young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises.
Way to go, IMDb.
Yeah.
They just cut right to the chase.
What would
I
you
like when
say?
they
10
cut it
words
to
or
the
less.
chase, right?
What would you say?
About?
How would you define the movie?
I mean, that's pretty good. Honestly, I had no interest in seeing this movie when I first saw the trailer. And then our friend Rob was like, it's great, you got to see it. And so I went and saw it.
with your eyes. Did you watch it with your eyes or your heart?
Both.
Did
Your taste buds.
You,
We had my taste. Yeah. No, we're not supposed to eat.
you didn't eat it.
You're supposed to taste,
Feel.
experience.
Well, let's start with Lonnie, and let's go around and give our ratings. So, Lonnie, what you think?
I didn't hate this movie. It was interesting. It wasn't what I expected when I went into it. It had a lot of suspense in such a small package.
It's not small. It's just cold.
It's like my sex life too.
It was kind of a simple story and kind of predictable, but they kind of milked it to the point where it was still suspenseful and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And right when you thought you knew what was going to happen, they kind of took it in a little bit of a different direction. So I enjoyed it. I would give it a 6.5.
Oh, that's a little lower than I thought you were gonna give it.
Well, it's too long. if it's a horror movie, if it's over an hour and 39 minutes, too long.
It's an hour and 46, so it's 7 minutes too long,
That's too
according to Lonnie.
Ooh, he's got standards.
He does.
If a horror movie's less
My horror
Then
movies are only 5
an
minutes.
hour and 30, and it's over an hour and 39, too long.
So it has to be within that 9-minute perfection time.
It has to be within that 1 hour and 30-minute range.
See, I don't feel like this
Did
is
you
much
say
of a
inch?
horror.
What are we
more
talking
than
about?
It is a thriller.
I don't know what this
90.
movie would be considered.
Well,
90
it's listed
90
as horror,
It's definitely
mystery,
a thriller.
thriller, and
Yeah.
comedy.
yeah, it has all that.
Yeah. Jeremy, what'd you think?
So I had no idea what this movie was, and I didn't even read a synopsis about it before watching it. Basing it off of the poster, I was thinking this is going to be more of like a middle-aged, like people in their like 50s, 60s would really enjoy it. And I thought it was going to be like one of those, I don't want to say chick flicks, but like, that stupid 80 for Brady. That's for like old women
Jesus.
to go watch and for them to enjoy. That's what I thought this was going to be like, but for like older guys too. So I started watching it, and it wasn't a bad start to it. It definitely brought some questions, like who are all these people? Okay, she obviously knows this guy getting on this boat. Interesting.
That poster?
Yes, that poster.
main one,
And then
the
the
main
movie
one,
started, and like I said, I didn't know what it was, what the genre was. I thought it was going to be something like more comedy, and then all of a sudden it's like kind of mysterious, and it's like there's horror to elements to it, and just all this stuff. And it had my attention from start to finish. It was like Lonnie said, a very simple plot, which I love that. It's all in what you do with that simple plot that makes a
An
movie
original
interesting. Yeah.
plot, too.
Yes. And we'll get more into stuff, but believe it or not, boys, I'm giving this movie a 10.
No
Nice.
shit. Oh my god.
His fourth
Lonnie
10.
I heard him from his house say that.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. I'm ready to watch it again. So,
Nice.
Right on.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah.
I just like the what?
No, very much like how Jeremy was saying. Well, I guess it's not necessarily my cup when it comes to the subject matter, but the substance at which that cup holds. Well, keep going, Justin.
What's this? A nut cup.
Is it Justin's week to cut him off?
I guess. But I don't know. I also really loved it. Every single scene was to perfection. And I think that goes with the theme of your main characters here. Well, your main character, I should say, because not everybody there is perfect. Neither is the main character. I mean, but his strive for perfection, the chef Julian, I don't know. I'm going to do this 2 times in a row. I'm also going to give it a 10.
Wow.
Ooh-wee.
Wow. You sound like Owen Wilson. Wow. Wow.
So, like I said, I had no idea what this was going to be based on the trailer, posters, etc. I went in and I was interested, and then just when I started to get bored, boom, it hooked me right back in with that 4th course, the mess is technically what it's called. I thought it was...
Wait, you got bored between like the 2 or 3
I was
meals?
about to get bored.
Huh.
Like, I was like, okay, can they get on with something here? Is it getting to the point? I thought it was a concise and smart script. I thought the tongue-in-cheek humor was pretty good throughout.
Perfectly placed humor.
Yeah, it was smart, dark, honest. I give this an 8.75. I couldn't just. It was more than an 8.5, but less than a 9. So I gave it an 8.75.
Now Justin's got to do math.
I know. It's like it has to go up to like 9 if it's anything above it. Either way, it's the same thing. It both comes out to a BPT rating of a 9.
Wow.
My streak continues.
My first thought with this is, I wonder what Chef Gordon Ramsay thought of this movie when he watched it.
It's like, it's perfect.
Yeah. We also had.
Didn't somebody call it? Didn't you call it his origin story?
Lonnie called it his origin.
We had 2 local actors in this movie too. Mike Burns played the part of Tyler, and
Tyler. He's not.
And I swear to God, I had to look this up because I was convinced it was her. The chef Catherine, the one that said it was her idea to do the killings and stuff like that for them to die. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Katie Otten.
No, looks nothing like it.
Bullshit. Looking at her picture on IMDb, I'm like, that's Katie Otten. It's crazy.
He's not wrong.
You think all girls look alike?
How can you not look at that and say that that's not her? Lonnie even agrees with me.
Like
Lonnie
I said earlier,
has eye problems.
This movie made me realize that Judith Light was still alive.
That one went over my head, and I watched her a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, who's the boss?
Hey. Anyways, what do we want to talk about first about this movie before Justin talks for 5 hours?
Before we get into it, I do have to make a quick thing. Who do you guys think is the new horror scream queen? The debate. Do you think it's going to be the Anna Taylor-Joy or Mia Goth?
I don't think I know enough about either of them to make a decision about that.
I guess I don't know what they've been in.
Is she
those
the
two
new
are
Wednesday?
kind of the poster girls of horror, like the two mainstream.
Her other
guess
movie,
Jenna
that Soho movie
Jenna
or whatever,
Ortega
is in my
well,
queue. I haven't watched it yet.
I don't know if I would consider. I don't know.
Yeah, I need more
question.
info.
I think
That's a
it's too
question
early.
we can revisit later. Yeah,
It's
I think
too
it's
early.
too early to.
Good talk, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry,
You always do this, though. You always do this.
You always
But yeah,
We have a discussion podcast.
this is
I bring
true.
up the topics for discussion.
But when you don't have
Bro.
the enough factors or variables in the mix, you can't really. You can only identify it. You can't see how they're going to work. We got to test them out. We need them to experiment.
I got a question though.
with each other.
Let's
make it happen.
And this isn't actually my question. Shane brought this question up to me and Brian at lunch today. Who's the biggest asshole in this movie?
Oh, by far, Tyler.
Yeah, I would say Tyler for sure.
I don't know about that.
Well, actually,
It's Tyler. He brought a girl knowing she was going to die.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't
To
think
this dinner.
he's. The thing
He
is,
brought a prostitute.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me get technical.
they're prostitutes while they're
A
alive.
service.
They're hookers when they're dead.
Elsa is also up there too as a big asshole.
Which one was she?
The Asian.
Oh, yeah, the-
lady. She
Hong.
was a
Hong Chan's
badass, but
When she's like, I can't remember what Richard said exactly. And she's like, what hand would you like to do or whatever? And they cut off his finger. First of all, that was a terrible cut. I hated everything.
Yeah.
I hate when
I
stuff
did
happens
like the
to
ring.
eyes and fingers. But like, it wasn't a smooth cut at all.
no,
it
no.
was like,
No, the blade was sharp enough. Sure, we'll say that. But I think my worst favorite person out of this whole thing was Ted. The main thing is most everybody else was pretty honest with who they were. So Ted all the way. The tech bros, they were pretty douchey. Lillian, she kind of had
them
her
at first.
entitled.
John Leguizamo was hilarious in this movie, by the way. I loved him the whole time.
Like Tyler character, I think he means well for the most part. He's very honest, and I
doesn't.
think he's he means well in like his nature, I should say. So he kind of wants to. I mean, he loves
He's beast, though.
What did he say? This is the third time he's been on the menu. Well, first time he's been on the menu, but yeah. So it's kind of hard. Yeah.
Did you stall?
Like Richard and Ann, they're both bastards in their own rights, but Ted, he's just like a yes man. And I kind of hate that because he's not honest at all.
I mean, there's none of them that aren't assholes. So I'm
Right.
just saying, what's the biggest? I think it's Tyler because he brought a girl who had nothing to do with this, knowing she was going to die.
Yes.
He knew what was going to happen the whole time.
Yes. But he was at least honest with it. Like he knows. And then he was honest enough to do what needed to be done for himself, whereas Ted would have ran every single chance he got.
I like when she sees him.
No,
like,
it's
hanging.
Linda.
Linda.
I
The
think
mom?
Linda's the biggest bitch on that boat.
Which one was Linda? Is it the mom?
Lillian? Or
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
No, Linda.
Linda, yeah, that's the mom, right?
Yeah.
okay, Linda.
One
Linda.
that just
Okay,
said-
Linda.
Oh, listen, Linda.
Listen.
You know what else made me cringe besides the finger cut off was when he got stabbed in the balls with the scissors.
Yeah, it was a leg. It was a thigh.
No, it was right in the groin.
It was a thigh.
I think it was,
He was
at least
limping.
a testicle.
Nah, I don't know.
I would
about
limp
that.
if you got hit. I'm gonna hit you in the testicle, and we'll see if you limp or not.
I will limp either way. It's a leg. That's one thing I don't understand about like movies and stuff. You get shot in the arm and you're limping. I'm like, why? Why are you limping?
So did anybody not knowing what was going on in this movie, did you know it was going to go to the point where somebody was going to blow their head off?
I didn't
And
know
then
that's
people
what
were
was
going
going
to
to happen.
die, and then
I saw the trailer and I kind of knew it was going to go dark. You know,
I didn't
before I even
feel
read
like
too much.
go ahead.
I didn't
Lonnie.
feel like it was going to be a suicide thing. I felt like the chef was going to kill them.
Yeah.
That's the route I thought it was.
Well, being a Jeremy
Yeah.
and the Jeremy that killed himself, I didn't call it until like when Chef had him up front and was standing there. Just the actor that played Jeremy, Adam Elderks, he did such a good job because you could just see the tears in his eyes swelling up and his expression changed. And it's just like, I knew like right away, I'm like, he's going to kill himself right in front of everybody. And I didn't think it was going to be with a gun to the head. I did like how the cooks in the kitchen, right? As
Dextered
you
it?
did, they pull plastic and boom, and then it's over and they just right back to working. So,
Yeah, with that Jeremy dude.
You know why that Adam? He's such a good actor.
huh?
He's from Appleton, Iowa.
Really?
Doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
Well, wasn't the chick from, and maybe it's something
Grand
else.
Island.
Yeah, Grand Island,
Yeah.
Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's what
he
she
was
said.
from Iowa too. Ray Fiennes' character was.
Yeah. So the Jeremy Luden character, the sous chef, like the one who offed himself, the first one who kind of like turned the whole thing.
That's when it sucked me
Around.
right back in. Like I
It's
was
like,
starting to
whoa.
get bored right before that, and it's like, okay, is something going to happen or not? And then
So Jeremy, the name Jeremy means piece of shit,
Ah,
but biblically it means uplifted by God
negative fuck.
or God's gift. So I kind of assumed that he was going to be a sacrifice.
every name
anyways.
means God's gift. So is mine.
So, and Loden, it means Valley of Wolves. So like I said, as I was watching this, I kind of assumed he was going to be the sacrifice, especially if like Julian is like the God figure. I assumed Julian to be some sort of Jesus-like or God figure as the sort of creator. This is very biblically based. So
I figured
we'll get into that.
Yeah, I figured this is what I wanted to know from you.
But yeah, so Jeremy kind of wanted this sort of talent that Chef Julian had, and that is very Luciferian, where kind of like his angel coming up and trying to get as much power as him. And God is a jealous God, so he banished him. So if God is a jealous God and he puts those striving for his power below him, that was saying, hey, do your job. That's kind of the thing too. Lucifer isn't really the bad guy in the Bible. He is the guy who gives temptation. He's like, you're just doing God's job. But yeah.
You look like you're about to say something.
No, it's not worth anything. I'm not going to waste my time. It just,
Like starting out, we'll start this off. I felt very Willy Wonka vibes going into it. So
with adults.
Yes. Well, if you want to call them adults, they're childlike nature, acting on impulse and being able to get their hands in grubs and all that. But it kind of had a bit of that Willy Wonka-ness. A bunch of people going to this, if you want to call it the factory, or restaurant where things are going to happen. So, I mean, people get punished in their own ways, except for Willy Wonka. It is kind of assumed that they are being killed in the movie, but I think in the book they actually do get killed, right? Lonnie would probably know.
In Willy Wonka, no, the kids are safe.
Kids are what?
Safe.
Safe.
Yeah.
I will say, and
In the
it
juicing room.
doesn't take away from my 10 that I gave it, but at the end when they're putting chocolate and marshmallows on their heads and stuff like that, I'm like, why are they accepting this? Like, why are you just
Also,
sitting
did
there?
anybody else want a fucking cheeseburger after
I did.
you made one?
Oh, I did.
Oh my god.
I wanted a cheeseburger for a long time, but I can't because I would be shitting liquid.
That's fine.
Can you
fine.
take a pill for that?
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, depends on the burger.
Well, if he makes it, yes, I will definitely try one. But
I almost brought us burgers. I almost did.
Going into
But I
the
figured you couldn't have one.
you should have.
So
Then we
not
would
with
split
cheese
one.
on it.
So yeah, going into this, one of the first lines is Tyler saying, please don't smoke. It'll kill your palate. That was like the first line in the movie. And I think that kind of adds to like the ending because smoke is the after effect of what happens to fire. So smoke kind of comes out in the end, whereas everybody went up in flames except for her. And that her way of skidding off, it was very intelligent, I think.
Yeah.
But with that, how come the other people that were there
Didn't do the same thing.
didn't do the same thing, knowing that's what worked? That was my biggest question from this is like, why did they all accept it?
Because for her, it was more what made Julian turn into the person he is mainly because people do not appreciate it. And they were so fake and coddled and entitled and all this. They've already exposed their nature, whereas he was trying to figure her out the entire time. And
Right.
even after he knew her,
Margot wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. He had made up his mind on everybody else, in my opinion. And, like you said, he, throughout the movie, struggles with if he should include her in this or not.
Yeah,
And so,
makes sense. I love his clap.
Yeah,
their
his
attention
clap.
all
and
the time.
the way that she used it almost against him, it kind of shocked him out of his own.
Mhm.
Like, whoa, you're calling the shots now. But yeah, let's see. John Leguizamo was in this. I
Wait,
love
who was in
Who?
John Leguizamo.
I'm sorry. I knew his last name was long, but John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo, the movie star. He played George Diaz.
He's in another cook movie I like, Chef.
Chef,
Great movie.
nice. What's the
He's in
other?
another Cook movie I like, Mario Brothers.
That's a plumber movie.
No, it's got mushrooms in it.
Oh, this is true. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is very biblical. So you have your 12 guests, and I kind of associate the 12 guests with like the 12 apostles. So according to the tradition, the 12 apostles represent the 12 tribes of Israel and symbolize different sins. And I think everybody sort of played a role or two in some of those sins. Obviously, cheater,
Adult. yeah.
Richard, he's
Adultery.
the lust.
Greed.
You got Envy, who is the movie star George. Pride is Lillian and Ted, who are all into themselves. Sloth is Julian's mother, the one who did nothing, who didn't.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Who's
not that one.
Who's Judas?
Judas is a few things. There is one of the things that I thought was very awesome is when they started leading into the movie, when they introduced Elsa and she's kind of leading them into the path. Do you know what a Judas goat is? A Judas goat is like what farmers use to lead the other sheep and cattle into the slaughterhouse. And she was walking with the Judas goats, and they were guiding the guests into the restaurant.
This movie was made for you, Justin.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a 10.
I gave it a 10 too.
10
Yeah, we'll touch on a.
Yeah, you don't get a ping.
12.
There it is. Sorry. Yeah, we got the greed with the cyber bros, and you got gluttony, obviously, with Tyler.
Those bros
Yeah.
drive me nuts in this movie. Like, especially when he like tried to go break the window or whatever.
And being that they are sort of
How would you like to
representative.
just be lowered into the water and drowned? That would be
sucks.
so
Fucking spotlight on
fucking
you.
and wings, angel wings. That'd be so fucking terrifying.
let me out. Hey, fuck you.
Oh,
But yeah, as far as with the apostles, the 12 guests to the party, and obviously the 12 apostles are with Jesus with his Last Supper. So they're all there.
somebody's throat just said something.
Oh, and the staff, they are pretty much wrath. I would say Julian is wrath too, but loosely. So how many meals did they have? Well, the first meal, we started off with lemon caviar served on raw local oyster with mignonette emulsion and a motherfucking oyster leaf. Do you remember that?
Well, I was going to say, I love the text that they put on.
Oh, yeah. Especially when it gets more into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still doing it.
So later we see Chef Slowick. He's a kind of a shell of a man. And I think that's the first introduction to the food. The little meal is kind of symbolic to what the happenings. So you got the oyster. It's like a shell. Chef Slowick is sort of that shell of a man. He's passionless now. Hence the oyster. He has grown sour. Hence the lemon. And the oysters produce pearls, which are symbols for wisdom. Chef was the wisdom, but he lost his gleam. Or maybe it is a welcoming zest for slaughter. Not so forthcoming, being that these ingredients are found much deeper below the surface, aka water. And Margot, her name means pearl, so she kind of has what he doesn't. So right on.
Pussy?
That, a pearl, if you want to open the oyster and reveal the pearl. I'm not talking
pearls.
pussy popping. But she was safe. Hence,
Just imagining somebody tuning into the podcast.
We just lost our PG rating.
Somebody tuning into the podcast right at that point. It's just pussy popping.
like I said, she was safe. Hence the safety pins that was in her ears. It kind of blunted her palate too.
Is that what you were doing? Was that song?
Yeah,
Hopping on the handstand.
yeah, that was it.
A little ludicrous action. Anyway, sorry. Derailed your thought again.
But I was talking about her safety pins in her ears. She was safe. She was blunted. Her palate early on with her cigarette, she kind of ruined her whole experience. Not that the experience was anything to die. Well,
How long did it take you to figure out that she was a hooker?
it took me a while.
Yeah, same. And I feel stupid because it
Up
took
until you
me
just
a
said
while.
that right now. No, I'm just
I assumed when they went back inside, when the girls started talking, and then she revealed what her actual name is, I'm like, oh, she's playing it up.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm kind of going back to like, he's telling her how to act. She didn't react so off when they were asking the names.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, this is Margot. She will be joining me. The other guests couldn't make it, all that.
Mm-hmm. I thought they were just like a new couple.
They seemed
yeah.
The relationship seemed very cohesive.
Yeah. Lonnie, how long did it take you?
Till she said it.
Yeah. I felt stupid like not knowing until like obviously we did, but I guess I'm not alone in that.
Well,
so.
when she was on the tortilla,
No.
there was a picture of her kind of on the tortilla
Oh,
with that
yeah.
guy. I don't know if my mind went to she was a prostitute or she was just
I was
somebody he had an
yeah,
affair
yeah,
with or
yeah,
something.
but-
I wasn't sure that was her on the tortilla. But I mean, it kind of gives question to it when his wife asked, when
That's
Richard's wife
clever too, putting that shit on tortillas
Oh,
to
yeah.
kind of rub it in their face.
rubbing shit in their
Those-
face.
How does he get those documents though? That was a good question. Like, how
Speaking
did
of-
he get pictures of those documents?
Speaking of shitter, when they are going through and they go see the
He is
barracks.
Voldemort, so he-
yeah. I was going to mention that like they all sleep together and they just shit on a stage with two toilets.
Yes, that shitter. When somebody asks, like they're like, "So is all hell gonna break loose?" And then it like frames the entire group over the shitter. So it's like, yeah, you're all going down the shitter. Everything's gonna, yeah. Great framing with the shitter. Great use of poopers. Yes.
That needs to go in the beginning of our little intro. Great use of poopers.
Oh, that was the wrong one.
Are you ready?
Nope. You don't want to do that one. Where's
You're
my
throwing
dun-dun?
your intro out of.
That's it. That's what I wanted.
Took him 45 minutes to find that.
I know.
I can just physically see Lonnie shaking his head right now at you.
I mean, you should be able to feel it.
So another thing that I liked about,
That's what she said.
like I said again, not because she's Asian, but she was my favorite character. Elsa was awesome all the way up until the end. I was like, well, okay, you deserve that, but
She got fucked in the throat, not in the good way.
ooh, tracheatic. Ooh.
That made me cringe a little bit.
But when they, and I want to go back to this later too. So one of her first, if you want to call it a command or commandments or something, it's like we harvest, we ferment, slaughter, marinate, liquefy, spirify, and gel. And then they kind of like, what is that? Gel. It's like that's kind of what you guys did. But we'll go back to that later. They also say they never burn anything unless by design to make delicious.
Yeah.
And they
I
were
caught
on
that
the
line the second time.
they were on the menu to make delicious, to spirify, to
they weren't gonna kill
them
anybody
all.
until
And
the
then
menu.
if you burn bodies together, what are they going to do? They're going to
Stink.
gel. They're going to gel together and mold and yeah.
Especially with the marshmallows. It's like a Rice Krispie treat.
I mean, you guys were talking about burgers, but I wanted some s'mores at the end of that.
I did
You're
too.
a sick fuck.
But all my marshmallows are hard, so I,
I just wanted a
can't throw them
cheeseburger.
out.
I want a cheeseburger right now.
Marshmallows are really good for a sore throat.
What? Mini marshmallows?
I don't know.
Just okay.
Don't do that. I have a child at home with COVID, and I'm listening. I'm like, ooh, really?
Oh, no, they are though. Give them one, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that'll work.
It will.
You trying to get me to murder my 3-year-old?
Nah, it's not all the way.
Kids can have chocolate, right?
I think so. No, kids
They're
can't.
not like dogs.
No, those are dogs. Jim.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not necessarily an introduction, but it's an introduction to his quarters. They showcase where Julian Slowik's quarters are, and somebody makes a comment of Lord of High Upper of Substance. Well, Margot did. So he was the chef as he has his high tower. So the overlooker, the overseer, kind of placing him as the god mode or god position in this one. All right. So when people photograph their food, have you ever ate with somebody? I'm pretty sure everybody has. Have you ever ate with somebody who, I said it right eventually, I think, with somebody who constantly photographs their pictures?
I'd punch them in the face.
My wife does that. I'm like, why? You are never going to visit that picture again.
I would attempt to punch her in the face. She would stop my punch and then break me in half. So she can take as many pictures as she wants.
I'll Snapchat it and send it to people to make them feel jealous. Like if I'm eating Mings, I'll send it to like Stephanie because she doesn't get to get Mings anymore.
Oh,
So I'm just a dick with my food.
yeah,
Food porn.
yeah.
I'm not sitting here putting it on Instagram and shit though.
You are something else.
It's more like, I mean,
Speaking
As
of,
like a
Lonnie has
story.
an Instagram now.
Mister.
Congratulations.
I do have an Instagram now.
I thought it was spam at first. I
was
like
like, oh.
literally texted him. I'm like, "Is this you?"
somebody's got a picture of your kids on there. Kid.
Yeah, that's why I was like worried about it.
No, it's really boring. It's all about fishing, but you can look at it if you want to.
Thank you. So meal
He
2.
uses it to catfish people.
Meal 2 was the amuse bouche, the cucumber and melon, milk, snow, and chardonnay lace. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Hey, Moxley.
What was Moxley's rating for this movie?
11.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm so loose. I have no voice in this.
They're kicking each other's cords at this point. I don't know what's happening. Oh, now it's
Of
completely
course.
unplugged.
I can't hear myself.
We're really technically sound this episode.
Let me move. God damn it.
Jesus. What is happening? What's happening? Look at this. This whole place falls apart without Lonnie.
I know.
It really does. It sounds like.
He's the basil leaf of this, whatever.
You might call it a chuppah.
So anyways, the meal 2, if you notice, that's very symbolic to the people themselves. Every single piece is hand selected to be placed elegantly, served on a stone, which is the island, isolated snow. The 12 within the non-intentional selections of Margot say that the charred lace above the melon meal is like the fire on the patron guest.
Wasn't meal 2 the bread with no bread?
No, that was the third one. Meal 2 was the they started
Can we
with
just
like
get
meal
some
1, meal
bread?
2. Yeah. And she was the one who eventually got the bread? Shit.
On her cheeseburger?
Yes.
God, I want a cheeseburger.
I was talking to Jeremy this morning. When me and Jeremy, I took my boyfriend over on a date today.
He did.
Yes. And
We even got.
Yeah.
We even got.
I like how
We even got 3 hotel rooms.
when Lonnie said like something like that's gay or something on that last episode, and you're like, cut that out, and you left it in there.
yeah, because I did a
I
ding.
just stopped. I just realized Justin's going to get me canceled.
Yeah.
Justin's like, I'll take it out, and he doesn't. He leaves like bad things in there.
And then he adds sound effects at random times.
The one podcast I listened to, I'm glad I did because, like, yeah,
I'm like, oh, shit.
you didn't take that out.
Whoops.
Wait,
But
you're
anyways.
the third listener?
I was kind of
Wait,
making,
you went on a date?
yes. And I made like an analogy that I wanted to share with all of you guys because I think it's very, especially how we pick our movies and stuff.
Like
This is kind of a side segment here. What?
the analogy of like my cock and Thor's hammer.
No, like a baby's arm. Like a baby's arm.
Not like a healthy baby.
Like a gaunt. Oh.
Like a preemie.
Oh,
Like
A
kind
dwarf.
of sickly,
Preemie.
holding an apple. Well, not like a ripe apple.
sliced.
Now we're canceled.
He's so like adamant about giving that. Like, I want to offer this information. Yeah, let me illustrate this for you.
People listen.
Like the apple has a worm in it. Kind of looks like a verm.
Oh,
Looks like a vein.
it's
people
soft,
listening
on,
to
The
this,
worm sticks
soft on the
to.
underside.
the people listening to this podcast are like, this got a 9 rating. This movie, what?
But no, I mean,
Like a Granny Smith.
I think the way that like
The Pink Ladies are in season right now.
I think Justin's getting angry.
going
The
back,
funny thing is, he doesn't know when I'm going to talk.
this is true. I can't even see your mouth. I have control
she
of you though.
That is true. He can just hang up on you.
He's going to bite.
Anyways,
we pick our movies.
I was telling you how like the way that we pick our movies is kind of like an analogy of like shit, you know? For example, if Jeremy is very simple. He likes to take a turd right there in front of everyone, maybe even stomp in it. And Lonnie likes to tell you it's not a turd, have you open it, and it's a turd. Then he'll smack you in the face with it.
and then make you buy it.
Yeah. The thing is, with John likes to bury his turd and then mark several spots. So it'll take a while for you to dig it up. And it's more intelligently hidden. That's kind of how he picks his stuff. And my type is wondering if there was ever a turd. Like, I know there was a turd there. It could possibly be all like part of my mind. Everything smells like shit, but there was actually never a turd. So that's kind of how we pick our shit, you know?
Yours is more like you have to ask your wife if you can shit.
That's what you were upset about? Not letting you say?
Upset?
All right,
No.
so go on.
That was all I had to say about the turd. Let's go back to the second meal over there. All right. So
Number 2.
Ted says something to
John, why'd you let him hijack this?
I knew it was going to happen too.
We're on page 1.
He was
of
expecting-
As soon as he
96.
sent us that message in the group, I was like, "Oh God."
sorry, man. This was a very intelligent movie. I give you
I know.
props for that.
No, yeah, that's why. This is the reason I picked it because I knew it would pick your brain would just
As a chef,
explode.
I am not by any means like a chef. I mean, I cook some good stuff here and there, but it's usually just like pasta and stuff. But as a chef who 5-star style stuff, and culinary arts and all that, like everything has to be hand selected, intricately placed. It's not just about the taste, it's the presence. Yeah. Everything looks well.
Presentation.
Yeah,
all
the
of it,
presentation. Thank you.
Just because you can read the directions on the back of a Hot Pocket doesn't make you a chef.
Actually.
I beg to differ.
So
What
yeah,
about ramen?
in that second meal, the amuse-bouche or whatever it's called. Boucher.
Amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche. Thank you. Ted says something to Lillian's comment of what is his ongoing obsession with snow, which Ted says something like it's officially a plague and no one is immune. So this I thought was really cool. This kind of reminded me of like a misheard lyric. And I think John, I pointed at Jeremy.
Wait,
said
what is
John.
happening?
Jeremy Leguizamo.
No. Did I say Jeremy? John.
No.
Yeah. John John. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways. So there's a Marilyn Manson song called The Odds of Even that for the longest time, I thought it said something along the lines of nobody is immune or exempt from the art of evil, but it's from the odds of even, which, I mean, it works out the same because like Rob Zombie's story of like art isn't safe. Nobody is exempt from the art of evil. Like shit like this can happen to anybody. Well, maybe not like this. This is very intricate. It could, but whatever. So
I don't know.
everybody,
Very intricate.
everybody in
a cult.
life, as long as you have a heartbeat or something, you are a pending casualty. But the lyric, it says nobody is exempt from the odds of even, which technically says the same thing. A life is added upon birth, so that's 1. Later on, subtracted upon death, so -1 equals 0. Every single time, everything returns to nothing, however you calculate it. So nobody is exempt from the odds of even.
That's deep, man.
Thank you.
What if it's a prime number?
0 is a prime number.
What if you are a Siamese twin? Or and you're born, so you're 2. And I don't know.
Siamese twins that's a whole different debate or discussion that I think would be interesting to talk about. Let's not, though. So I'm a huge Leguizamo fan, and Castro, I've always been a big fan. Well, no, I wouldn't say always. He's kind of been on my radar the last like 3 or 4 years or so with, what's that, Alternatino show? Very much like Key and Peele style comedy humor. But I feel like there was an opportunity missed with putting Leguizamo and Castro into this and not having them really interact much. It's like, damn it, man. You guys could have been hilarious together.
I still really liked his character, though. John Leguizamo's character.
Yeah.
And his,
He was that good choice for a movie star
yeah.
because I don't think he's ever really taken himself too seriously as a movie star.
Yeah. I think he kind of
I think
forgets he's a
anyone
movie
else
star
kind of would
sometimes.
have been kind of condescending in that role.
Agree.
With him, it's kind of genuine.
Yeah.
His assistant was hot. Felicity or whatever her name was. Is that her name?
Yes.
Felicity?
Yes, she was.
So there's another
Of course she was stealing from him.
quote
Of course.
that made me
That was
also
cliche.
appreciate. Thanks. Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm talking about Felicity being cliche.
This was. No, but there was another quote that really also made me appreciate the art of cooking, where Tyler says something along the lines of, chef, play with the raw material of life and death itself, kind of like seafood and grains and all this. It's like, it is the raw material and you're shaping it to make something palatable, editable. It's like they are the raw materials of life and death and non-life, because grain, I mean, if you want to count plants are living. We'll go with that. The staff themselves, they were very cult-like, obviously, as we talked about with like the clap. They idolize and sort of
Yes,
worship.
chef.
Yeah. They were pretty much at the whim of Chef Julian Slowick. So when he speaks, they listen. When he orders, they follow. When he claps, they stand ready, and even preaches forgiveness in 17 minutes.
Almost like robots. And then like all of a sudden when it was like their platter, like the chick, she like all of a sudden had like a personality and you know,
Yeah.
she like snapped out of her robot, stabbed him in the
It was
groinal
beautiful.
area.
The leg.
The ball.
It wasn't
or
the testes.
thigh. I don't know, man.
You would
he's-
limp too.
Maybe he's got low hanging ones.
Possibly. Because he's old?
Yeah.
Possibly. So the third
'Cause
meal.
he's Voldemort.
The third meal, or the first course.
Leviosa.
The first course on the island, it's fats, salts, sugars, proteins, and even entire ecosystem. That is pretty much the entire life and death of the raw matter. So a taste of everything to consider the experience of potential, even we are but frightened nanoseconds. Nature is timeless. That was one of Chef's lines. I loved that line. Everything inside that room is measurably finite, whereas nature will always exist without us, infinite. Yeah. Did that make sense to you?
No.
Okay.
I can lie to you.
It did to me.
Really quick, I'm gonna jump in here and
Go.
ask a question. Considering you aren't getting killed at the end of it, would you guys go to a island restaurant like that to have that experience?
Depends on how much it is. I'm fucking cheap.
I am too. They paid, well, actually, some of them paid more. What was it, $16.50 a meal, a plate, or whatever?
Well, yeah. I mean,
1,600?
and
I
how,
won't
many,
even pay $16 for a meal.
and how many times did the old couple go there? Was it 13 times?
12.50.
Or 11.
It was $12.50 a plate.
It was 11
That's
times.
cheap. I mean, I can go to Arby's and spend $12.50.
$1,250
Ah,
a plate. So like even the two plates before you get to the first course, I'm like, God damn.
But do you prioritize like the memory, or do you prioritize like,
Substance. I prioritize substance.
something?
I'm hungry. How you do it? We
hungry.
We hungry.
We hungry. Fucking fast.
too fast.
Too fast.
furious.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You're terrible.
We hungry.
It's kind of like what you were saying, that Soren dude. He says like, well, whatever, we can at least say we've been here. They don't really care about the flavor or the experience, or I guess they care about the experience of actually being there, not the experience of the now. It's like, I'll just check it off my list. It's a bucket list for them. It's not necessarily a passion. They're more about their numbers. It's pretty much like getting likes and stuff on. It's like, oh, look at all these people building my numbers. That's all it is for them. It's a lack of appreciation, taking it all for granted.
I will say this. I was fooled by the Coast Guard when he came in there.
I was just gonna, I had that in the holster ready to ask you guys.
I was expecting him to get blasted in the head with a gun or something, or his throat slit. I was not expecting him to be on it. And then he's in the kitchen cooking like 5 minutes after that. So yeah,
With an autograph.
Yeah, I was completely fooled by that.
Yeah, that threw me. I was like, man, that's where it got real intense. Like I was literally like on the edge of my seat. Like, man, what is gonna happen? I literally can't predict.
So I
what's
wonder if
gonna
he put
happen
that in
right now.
like a little lockbox or something like that for his daughter. Or did he actually have a daughter?
I don't know.
But he
Hard to
didn't.
say.
He didn't really sign it. Anything. He just wrote "help us" on it. He didn't sign his
But
name.
it is George Diaz help us.
But that's the thing. Like looking back on it, it's like you should have seen that coming, because this chef is pretty fucking smart with and stuff. Like he's gonna
This is
just
very
he's just gonna
intricately
give
plotted
him
out, yeah.
he's just gonna give him a piece of paper and a pen.
He
And
made
it was
the warning.
his idea. Like, oh, you want an autograph? Like he's not gonna look to see what it says. So looking back, I'm like, man, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, he made it a point. Chef made it a point of playing along, I guess. Otherwise, the chef is gonna, or sorry, the lifeguard is going to get gone. Gonna get got.
Somebody
as well.
buffer him.
Just turn me off and turn me on again.
Reload.
Thank you. It's like, you don't got. Yeah, no. All right, fourth meal. Day 2. The breadless bread plate. That's what
Fourth
that was.
entree.
So it was savory accompaniments.
That's what it is.
Or unaccompanied accompaniments. So bread is pretty much for the common folk. They are by no means the common people. None but Margot. Margot is kind of common. Prostitutes have been around. So that's the oldest professional in the world. I think this speaks to the first course where Chef Julian pleaded that they do not eat but taste. So to be hungry. Hunger is a sensation for nourishment, and nourishment provides substance for growth. Kind of like Jesus. He was giving bread to the hungry, and she was the only one who received bread. Not during this plate, but at the end where she got the cheeseburger.
God, I want a cheeseburger.
I know.
They have some in
I
the
want
venue.
that cheeseburger.
What's that? What'd you say,
I
Lonnie?
want that cheeseburger.
Yeah, for real.
That one. An
Looks
Elsa
good.
line.
Doesn't have much seasoning on it though.
I think
I
this
like
is.
to season my burgers.
Why I want that cheeseburger.
I want your opinion on this too, Jeremy. Well, actually, both of you guys. Both all of you guys. Elsa line. This is probably my favorite line of the movie, I think. Probably where she says, "You'll eat less than you desire and more than you deserve." Break that down for me.
You'll eat less than you desire, but more than you deserve. I have to think on that one. So you're going to eat less than you desire. So you're not going to get... that first part doesn't make sense to me. The last part, but more than you deserve, because they don't think they're grateful enough to have all this elegant food.
I think it
Because
depends
the kind
on
of people that they are. But I don't know that. You'll eat less than you desire. I don't know. John?
Oh,
Lonnie.
I think what it means is they think they deserve the world, but they have too much that they actually deserve.
Right. Kind of like the analogy of your eyes are bigger than your stomach, but only reflecting that to life itself. It's like you want everything, but you are not in deserving. Like what gives you the power or reason to have everything? Just because you have
Like
money?
You think you're entitled to everything,
Yeah.
but you've worked for nothing.
Like for me, I think it's kind of more of like a pretty much what comes around goes around thing. It can be interpreted many different ways, I think. They can be seen as a reminder to practice self-control and moderation, whereas some of these people were just so gluttonous about things or just taking things. And when he said like, do not eat, taste, yeah, pretty much do not indulge in too much of either pleasure or pain. It can also be seen as a reminder to appreciate the things that life has to offer, to not take anything for granted. On the other hand, it can also be a reminder to take risks and to push one's boundaries, to try something new and to experience something different. In any case, this phrase serves as a reminder that life is a balance between pleasure and pain, between risk and caution, and between comfort and adventure. And they thought they were the shit.
I like how Margot threw that back in the chef's face when he's like, you didn't eat anything. Or she's like, I thought we weren't supposed to eat.
Oh, yeah. She called him on his shit almost every single time.
And he's just like, you know what I meant.
Yeah. And that's what I also liked about the Margot character, because when you asked when did you assume that she was a prostitute or figure it out, I kind of figured it out like that midway because
The way she was eating that breadstick.
not just that. No, so prostitutes are people who are sex workers. Their job is pretty much
service workers,
Yeah.
as he calls.
their job is pretty much to please and
to
telling
service people.
yes, and to tell let's just use the male female thing, to tell a man what he wants to hear, not necessarily what is accurate. So even though I think she was saying things that were what they wanted to hear, but what was also accurate and what she believes as well. So that made her the pure, the Margot.
So when Margot was describing what Richard did, was she saying that he was basically having her pretend to be his daughter the whole time? When they're like, oh, she looks an awful lot like, I can't remember the name, Chelsea or something like that. You know what I mean? Is Richard like really just a fucking weirdo?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to, obviously he's trying to hide his affairs.
Right.
I assume these affairs went further. And if Margot was the person on the tortilla, then
Why you gotta do it?
that's how it is. They were serving the chicken tortillas, the tortilla pollo, con pollo.
Here's your Mountain Dew.
I don't know. That was weird. I just didn't know who they were trying to apply when she's like, she looks like Chelsea or whatever. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Quit looking at her.
He was trying to shut that conversation
Yeah.
down pretty fast. So it
Yeah.
seemed sketchy.
Yeah, so I don't really know.
Speaking of the tortillas, the third course, which was the chicken tacos with scissors in it, with tesora in it, which means memory. That was the memory course, kind of going back to his childhood when and I love the preparation of like a lot of how he served it. I don't know if you guys analyzed the plates themselves.
Not as much as you, obviously.
Shut the fuck up. So they served the chicken and then they had the scissors
in the chicken thigh because they stabbed them in the thigh.
But did you see what the plate was?
No.
The plate was a coiled up phone cord.
So I did not see that.
What he described.
I just looked at the chicken and I was like, Brian, did you see the chicken?
Yeah. I'm like, now everybody has a weapon and
That's
he'll
true.
be taken back to his repressed memory. So it's like, he's weak now. Fucking take him out. Well, then.
Looked good chicken, though.
What did he say, the chef, to them? Like, didn't he ask them at one point? He's like, why have you not tried to do anything?
Right. It's towards like the second to last, like all of you guys could have.
Yeah. And it's like,
together.
even after he said that, they still didn't do anything. And I'm like, what? What the fuck? Like,
What can you do?
I really feel that the only threat was Elsa. I feel like if they would have went after the chef, the other ones would have backed off.
Because she knows some sort of martial art, is what you're saying?
Because she was a tough broad, and she did. I mean, you saw that shit at the end. Her
Sort of.
little battle.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
killed me.
She did the
know
Raiden little jumping out, diving. So yeah, upon the preparation of the chicken tacos with the scissors, you can see like one of the chefs have a tattoo of an eye, and eyes can be memory or truth, kind of how the meal was served. So Chef Julian tells the story of his memory when his mom was being strangled with a phone cord, and him as a child had to come in and stab his dad in the thigh with a pair of scissors. And the tortilla, it's like a chip. It's a vehicle with the meat of the savory stuff. It is also the wrap. The tortillas, the wrap.
Fucking just say it.
Tortilla,
Normal.
that's what I'm saying,
In
man.
a
Let me-
regular voice.
But it has the grasp of substance, the vehicle of which you consume on. And that's where your sins are printed on, or their bad things are printed on.
Please don't say mouthfeel.
The tortilla.
You didn't see what he did there.
No, I didn't.
That's how I eat a taco.
Don't say mouthfeel.
Hey, just letting you guys know, this is a audio medium, so you guys making mouth jokes, they're really lost on me.
Yeah,
Especially our listeners, too.
So as we said, he
Both
printed
of them.
He printed like what the affair, the tax papers, or some sort of papers with fraudulent stuff on it. He got Tyler and his pictures on the tortillas, and that was pretty much like the guess. That was the meat of their problems.
what was on John Lake Mungo's tortilla?
Leguizamos?
What was on his? I don't remember.
It was I think it was a text exchange of her stealing money or something like that. I think that was.
Something like that, yeah.
But he already knew it, so I don't know. No. It was the Dr. Sun Valley.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
What is hyper decanted wine?
I don't know.
It is a technique
Google.
used by professionals.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, did you not know?
He was asking
Well, I
Google.
was gonna help.
Oh, go do it. I believe in you.
You're explaining it.
I tried.
Go.
Okay, it's a hyper decanting. It's a technique used by professional sommeliers and wine connoisseurs to enhance the flavor, aroma, and complexity of the wine. So you're pretty much involving pouring wine back and forth. It's like, how is that changing the taste? Maybe I'm one of those people where like I don't see how
Probably.
it works.
Oh, yeah.
It's like people with like records. It's like it's just better audio that way. If vinyl is so much better.
That's what it sounds like with vinyl. It's got that extra with it.
Thank you.
All right. And go.
Tortillas deliciosas
Yes.
is what Elsa said. That was one of her lines. Tortillas deliciosas. Nebraska's where Margot is from, which where this podcast is from as well.
What do you-
You know, Margot was supposed to be played by Emma Stone.
I think they made a better choice.
Yeah.
I like Emma Stone.
I do. I don't think.
I
she
think
would've
both
played this
people. I
character.
think people find both these girls attractive, and they're not.
I mean, I wouldn't say no if they asked me, but I
don't
wouldn't
know.
Go,
She
I
looks
wouldn't
like
go
an
out of my
alien.
way.
Her eyes are weird to me.
Well, have you looked up other pictures of her outside of the movie? Like,
Yes,
say-
I've seen her in a billion movies. Not
She
billion,
hasn't
but
made- she doesn't have a billion credits.
She's a movie slut
You're stupid.
lately. She's in that fucking New Mutants movie. I don't know, her eyes. She just looks like the aliens from Mars Attacks.
All right, so the fourth course we've briefly discussed is the mess. It's the pressure cooked vegetables, roasted filet, potato confit, beef, just
tastes like feet.
and bone marrow. Yes. So the mess is pretty much Jeremy coming over, blowing his head down. And I thought that's what was going to happen too. Like I didn't expect it to happen, but I kind of assumed it was going to be some sort of sacrifice, the way that they laid the blanket in the guest area. Like, oh, shit's going to go down. And this guy whose eyes are kind of like, yeah. And then right after that, that's where you go ahead.
Like, it could have got real weird in lots of different ways. Like, it couldn't have necessarily been shot. It could have turned into a monster movie. It could have lots of different ways.
Right.
A zombie movie?
Don't.
Well,
Yeah. I like how the rest of the staff, you know, they shut like the plastic curtains. It's like bang, all his brains splatter behind towards the kitchen area, and they just open up the curtains again, and it's like, all right, back to work.
Oh, you mean that thing Jeremy said about an hour ago?
thank you.
You said that. Yeah,
He's too busy prepping his notes.
I did. Corrected my stack here.
His Bible.
And then everybody, like Ted, he's like, the acting is astonishing. And George Diaz is like, what the fuck are you talking about? John Leguizamo.
I like how his character's name, he's credited as movie star.
Yeah. George Diaz is his name. But it was also around this time is when I started questioning Tyler around this time, the fourth meal, because he's unperturbed of anything that's going on now. He's still just so consumed in his plates and his meals, and like he's trying to taste perfection. It's like he knows his stuff, but he can't recreate it.
He was obsessed.
Yes. Obsession is a...
You are an
not good.
obsession.
Fuck, I was just about to do.
The Hawthorne H that you see on like Chef and the staff's stuff, it could be loosely related to the
Can't make
Pisces
an
symbol.
H.
The Pisces symbol is the 12th of the zodiac, which is also associated with Jesus. The Jesus fish. It goes back to giver and taker. Give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Not a lifetime, because we'll eventually go broke.
Yeah. Not enough fish. Another beautiful shot where Margot...
Oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah. Ugly ones.
Plenty of whales.
Yeah.
Oh!
And puffer fish.
Pufferfish. and-
Whales and
And
eels.
squids.
Things.
They will suck you
Oh, you too.
And sharks. And mermaids.
Wait.
Whoops. After this point in the movie, you have the palate cleanser. The palate cleanser is pretty
Tuna.
much the tea. You got the wild bergamot and the red clover tea. It's
Oysters.
pretty much the calm before the storm is what the tea is supposed to
Flounders.
represent. Yes, that too.
Marlins.
Which I didn't understand. I'm like, you motherfuckers still have appetites? Like, you
lot
just
of
washed a guy
catfish.
off himself.
A lot of catfish.
Lobsters.
Some shrimps.
Say that again, Justin. I'm sorry.
Scampies.
I was wondering why these guys had appetites. Their entertainment for the evening was a guy.
I got Justin talking about a movie. I got you fuckers talking about ocean fish. I got me sitting here hearing every third fucking word.
It's great though, right?
Get this ship on the fucking road.
Yes. A good line from Chef Julian where he's like, "My art turns to shit inside of your gut."
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a good line.
It was.
Thank you.
John needs CPR.
When she went to the bathroom and she was asking like, "What's behind that door?"
We never know.
I assumed it was Doug Varick. Doug Varick was probably behind that silver door. So silver represents wealth and success. A closed door means one turning away from a decision. There looked to be an angel face on the door, and Doug was the angel investor. So to slaughter Doug as an angel was very fitting. Doug means dark or black river, and river is flowing, and his funds have run dry. So he is sort of like the Satan character.
I think you're wrong. I think it was just the family bathroom.
No, he said, do not go into that door.
Yeah, because they're not a family.
Oh. Now, Satan sought to help God and did what he asked, meaning tempting mankind to sin. And because of that, he was labeled the bad man. The tech bros worked under Doug in a way, so they are sort of like the demons. The tech bros.
I would really love to send one of these movie review podcasts like this one to the director of this movie just to see if the things you're saying there's like,
No.
Yep.
yeah.
Lonnie, no.
Or if they're just like, what the fuck is this? What did he watch?
This movie. So Elsa around this time too, where she's like very nonchalantly, very like in a stoic manner, like, I'll show you back to your seat. Like when the dude was trying to break the glass to save
That
his.
scared me when she said that to him like that. I'm like, oh my God,
Jeez.
this chick. Like,
Have you no heart?
No, she cut off people's fucking fingers.
So the 6th course, man's folly. This is pretty much the stabbing in the testicles and or the thigh. So man's folly is introduced by sous chef Catherine. The Dungeness crab, fermented yogurt, whey, dried sea lettuce, and umabashi kelp. Chef Julian tries to shoot his shot on Catherine a few times, and she was like, meh, and avoided her. This one is called the humiliation because supposedly he didn't look her in the eye for 8 months.
8 months.
8 months. That's almost time to have a baby. She needs to let that shit go.
A little bit.
Yeah. At the end, so they take the guys outside, or everybody outside, and they're like, all the men, you need to run. And if you get caught, well, it's your ass. So even like the tech bros, they're abandoning each other. They're like, don't run next to me, bro. Don't run next to him.
I like when they give him a chance to run away.
They're like, fuck off.
There was that, I don't know, Soren or whatever his name is, like took off running immediately. He's like, okay.
Deuces.
okay, I'm sorry. Like, I knew she looked familiar the whole movie. Elsa, she was in that fucking downsizing movie
Yes.
with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Man, thank God. That's been bugging me.
Felicity calls the
right.
umabashi
So-
emojis.
That has Omaha in it.
I know.
I was there.
So this is for Catherine. All right, when women offer up ideas to implement in the workplace, it's supposed to be to the benefit of everyone, right? But Catherine was one of those who offered an idea that everyone dies at the end. And since Chef Julian had a sensitive history and didn't want to get Me Too'd, he agreed to go along with it. So it's like, not every idea is a good idea, though. Like some of the ideas, you kind of have to nip it in the bud. It's like, let's not kill everybody.
She's probably a lesbian.
She could have just said so. He shot his shot a few times, and he's like, she's like, he just wants to fuck me.
She does know how to scissor.
True. I think you're onto something. That was probably the smartest thing you said all night. So Ted, he's hiding in the chicken coop.
Yeah.
And being the chicken, he was offered the chicken egg. And how was that sous chef carrying that when they were sprinting? I'm like, it had to be delicately, like all the sprinkle and shit that's on the top.
I just wrapped it in a napkin.
Yeah, it's like ran with it.
It was just sitting there right next to me.
Margot reveals that her name is Erin, which could mean peace. It's derived from the Irish word Eire or Erin, which refers to the island and the goddess of Ireland. In this case, maybe the goddess of the island. Yes.
You almost done with your notes? This is a long one.
I have a few more. So
Pages or notes?
notes.
I think Lonnie went to go make a burger.
Nope. I'm right here.
Are you guys
He already made it. He's eating it now.
Are you guys familiar with the Hawthorne experiment? I think they made a few movies about this. There was one in particular. I think
Hawthorne Heights?
Lonnie, you know what the Hawthorne experiment is, right? Or the Hawthorne theory?
Yeah.
So confident. Tell me what it is.
Oh, hold on. Let me Google it.
It's pretty much an experiment that people will change their behavior under the knowledge of being observed. In this case, their private lives are revealed. So everybody knows a little bit thing about everybody. So if you look back into like, there's like social experiments where they do things like that. Like there's a person in the other room. You have to press this button every time they get something wrong, and it's going to deliver a shock, and somebody's going to scream. And some of the people will get, what do you call it, hesitant about it. They're like, and you have to turn the voltage up and deliver the shock. And
shocking everybody.
but they're really not hurting anybody. That's the Hawthorne theory, that people will change their values once they have knowledge of something. But yeah, Tyler ends up becoming the traitor against Margot. So he knew she would die and ended up being favored under the ranks of Chef Julian.
That's why he's the biggest asshole in this whole movie.
Yeah.
That's why he hung himself like a bitch.
Yeah, he ushered him to cook, and Tyler was spouting off ingredients. When he got to the lamb, I also knew he was going to die right there. A sacrificial
Also,
lamb.
what he made was terrible.
Yeah.
As a guy who's been in the kitchen.
Was it scallots? And
Yeah.
I'm like, good.
It's like
job.
generic as fuck, like day one chef school shit.
This is what, yeah, Tyler's bullshit.
Yeah.
That it named it Tyler's bullshit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
This is undercooked lamb, inedible shallot leek butter sauce, utter lack of cohesion.
Yeah.
So he got too hot under the collar,
Shit. I forgot they did call it that.
too hot in the kitchen that he went to hang himself in the chef's office.
She like didn't care. I mean,
she's
I
like,
wouldn't
"Oh,
either. If somebody
yeah."
just led me to slaughter, and I'm like,
She was over it fast, I think. So next movie review, we're going to do Calling Dr. Sunshine.
That ain't my pick. I got the next one.
Julian's personal
I got
quarters.
the next one after that.
That was kind of.
And then I'm going because we're skipping you.
No, I got something in the can. Julian's quarters,
that's
pretty
where it
much.
belongs. I'm just kidding.
A trash can.
Julian's
Can mean toilet.
Let's try this again. Julian's quarters, his personal area. It's pretty much the exact replica of the restaurant in which they are partaking in the menu, which I thought was like you just have a. I didn't do it. You just have a bed in the corner where the guests are, and like you live, breathe, laugh, love this.
That's what Gordon Ramsay's bedroom looks like too.
They even have like the silver door in his room.
Guy Fieri has one of those beds that has like a convertible. Never mind. I lost my train of thought immediately.
Sorry. In the actual restaurant menu, I thought Doug Verrick was behind that silver door, but in his quarters, behind that silver door is a doorway into his past. Yeah. And this is where I thought was also really cool because it kind of goes more mythological. You get to see some of his accolades when he was growing up. Hamburger Howie was the source of his love to the world of food. And there is a article that mentions the Tantalus. Are you familiar with the mythology of Tantalus?
No.
So it was a god who punished to be ever hungry. So he was kind of chained to the wall, and there was like water and stuff at his feet. So every time he bent down to try to drink, the water would go lower. I guess it was kind of at his waist. So it would go lower every time his mouth was close to it. And then as it got higher, or as he got higher, the water rised. So he was in an everlasting state of thirst and hunger. And when he would eat things would just turn to ash inside of his mouth. So that was that. That's pretty much the Julian character. Passionless. So he desires.
I was gonna make an Ash Wednesday joke, but I didn't.
You're a day late on that.
I know.
You would have made
Yesterday was
you would have made an ash of yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Christ.
And he's like, "Why did I call in today?"
So
Talk about you hanging up.
Chef Julian, he kind of desires love, and so he ends up killing his creation. That's why 4 of the commandments are wasted to stroke his own ego, or the 4 commandments of the Bible is pretty much love me. Stop stroking that.
Stroking his ego.
Yes. Question?
No,
I thought my phone stopped working.
You found your what?
He thought his phone stopped working. It fell asleep.
Such a long, awkward pause.
You look confused over there, Justin.
I'm going through some of these notes, and I can probably eliminate some of them. So
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Lonnie's encouraging.
No, please.
oh, for you, Lonnie.
No.
Even though I can sense that sarcasm.
There's no sarcasm at all. I'm at home. I'm in my PJs.
Oh.
You're in your BJs?
I'm sitting behind my own computer.
We have seen time and time again that most people are only in it for themselves. Julian even admits that if they all worked together, they could have survived. The only thing that's missing from a lot of his ingredients, which Margot kind of blatantly puts back into his face at the end, is the ingredient of love. He was missing the ingredient of love. When she asked for him to cook that burger, she kind of saw what she saw through that silver door when he was smiling, cooking the Howie's hamburger. And he sparked that, or she sort of sparked that back into him. That was the only time you get to see him smile, other than that fake smile when the lifeguard kind of comes in. It's like, oh, we're all good here. And so she sort of like gave that back to him.
He keeps calling him a lifeguard.
Yeah, it's not, it's a Coast Guard. But we said lifeguard, so we're sticking with it. And I'm trying to save you guys by not sounding stupid for saying lifeguard.
So you're like our lifeguard. 'Cause
Yes.
You're trying to save us.
I am very Jesus-like, and I am a savior.
Well, you lost me when you said Jesus-like.
When this podcast is done, I am going to set this entire place on fire.
As long as I can wear a marshmallow hat.
So, no, that's going to mess up your stomach. This fire won't, though. So it takes someone who can tell someone what they want to hear. So she is an escort after all. She says all the right things and which she can't deny. But I don't think she was lying. I think she came from a place of honesty when she was questioning him to sort of put him in his place. As a chef or a creator, your job is to create, to be a giver. After all the meals, she says she wanted to send it back, that it tastes bad and that she's hungry, actually starving. What she wanted is something simple, a cheeseburger. A man of his status thinks himself as a god. He's graduated far beyond that. But it was that which sparked his vocation to cook, to create, to provide love. So that's when we see that smile again from the paper. We actually get prepared the cheeseburger supplemental course, just a well-made cheeseburger. That's what it was titled. And then the final course is the s'more, the most offensive assault on the human palate ever contrived. Made with marshmallow, chocolate, graham cracker, customer staff, and restaurant. It's not the s'more, but the people. The distaste of one another in the offerings that made Chef fall. So he could have continued to love his art, but I think the more he got up in the world where he was exposed to more people who, outside of like the your small chicken or burger joint, that's when the people who come there is like, thanks, man, appreciate it. Can I get a little enough ketchup packet or something? But when you get into this pompous nature with everybody who come in there just for the money and just for the experience of things, it's like check it off a list. It loses all of its flavor, all of its color, texture, everything is out the window. And he's trying to, that's what he started off with, like taste, feel, mouth, graduate, whatever it's called.
Not that.
Degustation, mouthful. That cinder that he grabbed from the kitchen before he lit the fire with all that would have went out. He held that for quite a long time. It's like, that's not still burning. And he also kind of proved it earlier that he can hold things because of his chef hands over the candle when he was talking to Margot earlier. Yeah, Margot, I kind of consider her out of all of the apostles, the Mary Magdalene, because Mary Magdalene was pretty much the apostle of apostles. She was the first person who kind of saw Jesus or renewed Jesus, saw him rise, and his smile is pretty much the resurrection before it all goes bad. So the fire purifies them all and they become a mesh of victims. And that's going back to the response on Elsa's duties, where we harvest, we ferment, we slaughter, we marinate, we liquefy. Duty. So yeah, that is pretty much that.
And then she ate a cheeseburger.
Yummy.
And
Twice.
somehow knew how to drive a boat.
Yeah. Well, she
All
is
you
an
have to do
escort,
is
so I assume she's been on a few boats or yachts before. Yachts.
She's been a deckhand before. No, I'm serious.
She spent some time on the poop deck.
All right.
You knock it off.
Lonnie, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm listening.
What would you
Yep,
change
I'm
about
here.
this?
Why are you rushing this?
I'm waiting for a response to why are we rushing this?
We're not.
Oh, okay.
I just want you to talk.
Rushing it. We've been going for over an hour with this one.
Yeah, this one's long.
Yeah, we're like an hour and 20.
Yeah. Anyway, what would you change?
If I was to change anything in this movie, I would have liked a little bit more character development.
What? There was enough?
Well, like I said, I questioned what Richard was like. Yeah.
I think the character development-
I get what Lonnie's saying.
Yeah. I liked that they didn't develop it because the character development is the reveal of everybody.
Well, character development, I don't care. I don't care about the cooks and stuff like that. I mean, like, make me dislike the people I dislike more,
Yeah.
and make me like the people I like more.
I could see that.
Well, everybody's position also flips too.
I would have liked a little bit more development.
Did you just get hit?
Is Mox beating your ass right now?
That's his input too.
Right
Oh,
on.
okay. Thanks, Mox.
Fuck you, Justin.
Well, you guys gave it a 10, so would you change much?
I wouldn't change anything.
I think it was well placed. The only thing I would have liked to see is more interaction with Castro and Leguizamo.
I agree with Lonnie. I would add more character development. I have more questions about, why they're such pieces of shit. Like, I mean, I kind of get why. Like, I get the gist of why but I want, like Lonnie said, make me hate these people more than I
I feel like I guess.
Make me believe they deserve to die in this fire.
In the 18 hours that I watched this movie once,
God.
I feel like I got
it
that.
took them 18 hours to make that movie.
But I think it also kind of adds to the effect of the movie, the theme of the movie itself. It's like you don't know what the characters are just yet, and you have to wait for the next plate. You have to wait for the next reveal. You have to not rush the flavors. You have to savor what they give you.
Do you guys have an idea of what the Rotten Tomato scores are?
Yes, I have an idea.
Do you know the Rotten Tomatoes?
No, I don't have an accurate idea. I'm pretty sure. I would say an 80
For what? Which one?
for audience.
Do you think audiences love this more or critics love this more?
I think audience loved this more.
I think it's probably
Actually,
close to a tie.
Critics gave it an 88%, and the audience only gave it a 76. So 3 out of 4 people liked it, and that's kind of what this room is. I mean, Lonnie liked it, but not as much as the rest of us.
It. I was right there, probably on that 3 out of 4, pretty close.
I mean, I didn't say you didn't like it.
yeah, you're the reason why we got a 9.
No, I know. I'm just I'm convincing you.
Damn it, Lonnie. You are the traitor amongst us.
Judith.
As long as it's got juice.
That's how you spell it.
Yeah.
Judas.
That would be your backyard wrestling name.
All right.
The budget wasn't as much as I thought it was. It was only 30 mil.
Really?
Well, I mean,
I wrote that down.
considering it all took
it's all
place
one
in
room,
one room, yeah.
2 rooms that look the same.
The goddamn fuck up.
Oh, yeah, there was a bathroom and an outside and a boat
Yes.
And his
and a
house.
cheeseburger.
And a dock.
And a giant explosion.
But it was all built on the same sound stage, so.
Speaking of locations, I'm very happy. I have news that I will reveal in the next episode.
Cool, what a tease.
You're welcome.
Like Jeremy. I have something to tell you guys. Oh, wait for a week, though.
Well, let's let Jeremy do that right now.
That's it.
It's happening
That's
right
the
now.
segue right now.
Oh,
Lonnie, are you ready? He's finally going to tell us.
Jeremy's been stroking us for about a week, I want to say. Really hard.
Thank you.
About what?
and it felt good. About
Remember that
this.
announcement he wants to make?
It's going to make your heads explode.
We want to know what his
the
name
heads
is.
on your heads. The heads on your
Okay.
shoulders.
Yeah. Let's hear this big announcement.
So, all right. So those that listen to us know that I have the reputation of being the negative one and the poo-poo on thing one and stuff like that. What the hell is
I don't
that?
know. That like startled me.
I know,
It
me
felt
too.
my brain rattled.
Come on.
So with that being said, I don't think you guys are ready for this.
Oh, Jesus.
I have the next pick of the next movie.
Yeah, we know.
So, the next movie that we will be reviewing is 2017's It.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What?
We are going to be reviewing
Excuse me?
2017's It, the movie I said I would refuse to watch because I'm going to give things a chance. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm going to give it a chance. So,
No, you have a button for this.
Oh,
Guy
forgot.
gets his own bathroom and fucking.
Yeah, right. It's his
so we'll see. And I am going to review this honestly. I'm not going to give it a shitty review. If I like it, I'm going to give it a good review.
So you're
Just
gonna
the
go
first
see
one.
Scream.
Just the first one.
okay.
You're gonna see Scream 6 with me next week then?
Fuck you.
What are your
Baby steps.
Lonnie, John, what are your guys's out of the I mean, I feel like I have to take both of them, the first and second chapters, but I think the first one is maybe better.
Oh, the first one's way better.
I mainly like the
Which sucks because the second one has a lot of great actors.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't think it came together.
Yeah, I think the children's the comedy
children, yeah, it's way better.
I kayfabed Justin
about you, Lonnie?
at one. Oh yeah, forgot Lonnie. I'm used to staring at the side of his head.
It's a really good side of his head though. That's probably my favorite side of his head.
It's my better side.
So what do you think is better, part 1 or part 2?
You can't really have two without one.
Well, I know that.
Duh, Lonnie.
But
Lonnie.
I think
Duh.
two's better. Two. I said two.
Sorry, the tin can kind of.
Like I said, the actors are phenomenal. I don't. One actually, so I don't. It takes a lot for me to get scared in a movie, but it had a scene where I was like, oh, like I
So
puckered my
afraid.
butthole a little bit.
I kayfabed Justin earlier today when we were talking about because I was like,
When we were on our
I
date.
wanted to make sure that Lonnie was a part of this because I wanted his natural reaction when I said that. And so I whatever we were saying, I told Justin, I'm just like, because he was looking at me like, why do you want Lonnie on the phone that badly for this? And I was just like, because I'm picking a movie from back in like I think it was like the early 50s, late 40s. And I said, I know you and John don't know anything about it. I was like, I think Lonnie's probably the only one that's seen this movie.
You lied to me on my date?
I did.
That's fucked up.
I already got the food. I was in
That
hotel
is
rooms with you.
fucked
I
up.
got what I needed out of it. So yes, next
If
one.
you don't be careful, you're going to lose me.
Well, we'll see.
Boyfriends.
So
If one of us died and somebody looked at our text message, they're going to be like, yep, they're boyfriends.
yeah, the last text for me is, I think it says something like a video of me fingering myself.
Yeah.
And I'm uncomfortable. Lonnie, come back.
So
I'm
there-
sorry, all I heard was come.
What is your, like, okay, obviously Ralph Fiennes, whatever you want to call him.
Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe?
Yes,
It's Ralph.
Rayf.
Is it? I got
Yes,
Ralph.
it's pronounced Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, what is your least, or I guess most hated character he's played? He does good with bad guys.
Who?
Yeah,
The main guy, the
Voldemort.
chef.
Oh,
Is it Voldemort, or were you just saying Voldemort for,
I was-
for
I
reference?
love
No, it
Voldemort.
actually is Voldemort.
I love
Alright.
Voldemort.
I think this is the first thing I've ever seen him in.
I
You've
hated
never watched
him.
any Harry Potter movie?
I hated him as.
Yeah, the first
You watched the fourth one. I was there.
Wait, Lonnie, did you say
It
Voldemort
was
is
at
your
somebody's house.
least favorite character of him?
I said Voldemort. Yeah.
I thought you would have loved him as Voldemort,
Why are you yelling?
I
It's
didn't
modern
like any Harry Potter
technology.
movies.
but I thought you would probably hate him as Amon Goeth, the Jew killer, the guy who was like sniping
Well-
all the Jews.
The movie is perfect.
They
It's the
deserved
only
it, is what
reason
you're
we
saying?
You're talking about Schindler's
Yeah, like,
List?
it was straight on the
That's what I
text. Perfect. No, like that movie. That we haven't covered that movie because we literally go, that movie's perfect at the end. We're talking about
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, he was the perfect character in that. So like,
I didn't like.
his
He's the
character
worst
sucked,
Alfred.
But he was absolutely perfect in it.
Wait, when was he Alfred?
And the Lego movie.
Oh, okay.
He's also Voldemort in that movie too.
Nice. Double
He's
dogged.
been in a lot of shit. Holy cow.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes has been in a
Yeah.
lot. He played. Didn't he play Hades too?
No, that was James Woods.
No, Clash of the Titans. Yeah, he played Hades.
Oh, correction. It
I think
was.
it was a cartoon.
Well, that's fair. I did say the Lego movie and then go into Hades, but he's in Red Dragon. That movie sucks.
He's in Bernard and Doris. I've never seen it.
He's in that shitty Avengers movie too. I forgot about that. The one with Uma Thurman and Sean Connery. Anyway,
The Quake
no,
or the
the
Quickening?
Avengers from 1998, where they're like top hat Avengers, like British
okay.
Avengers,
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
not like
With
Marvel Avengers.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery and Uma
Drop
Thurman.
your panties.
Okay.
That's my only line with him. Drop your panties.
Suck it, Trebek.
Did we have a favorite, least favorite? I didn't
I
have
didn't
one.
look
This one.
up.
Lonnie?
Yeah.
I had one and I scrolled past it, but the title was Anna Joy Hot, the menu not.
Stupid.
See, it's hard for me to see how people would dislike this. It's probably it's not that slow of a burn though. I think
No.
it fits well.
I think the
No,
pacing
yeah,
and
the
everything's
suspense is
great.
great.
Yeah. And the explanations kind of give way to things to come or things to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you get a different theme with each meal. And if you're observant enough, you can kind of like see the lines.
Penis. Yeah.
Yes. Not the lines. Never mind.
It all comes together.
Stop doing that. Oh, that was it. So, next movie review is going to be Jeremy's review.
2017's. Sorry, I had a stuttering problem.
It's going,
Refresh.
but it's not going.
2020. Is it
It's
going?
going, but do it.
2017's. Stephen King presents it.
All right, let's throw that back on because you couldn't hear the da-doom without the music. Okay. See us out, John.
Bye.
Good job.
No, go out to the theaters, see more movies. Movies are coming back. COVID's a myth, despite what Lonnie has right now. No, go support any theater, whether it's blockbusters, local theater. Like, let's get people back in cinemas. Let's do it.
Let's have cinemas.
Yeah, that's also true.
You deserve more than you eat, but you more than you hate.
Don't say mouthfeel.
Mouthfeel.
Let me help you back to your seat.
Bye, guys.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This concludes our broadcast day.